Steven Crowder is suing YouTube for censorship as the worldwide TECHLASH has just begun. In this video, we're going to take a look at the new lawsuit just announced by Crowder against YouTube. We're going to take a look at it in relation to similar lawsuits of the past, and we're going to see how Crowder's actions are all part of a growing tsunami known as TECHLASH that promises to overturn big tech censorship practices once and for all. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you as always. We're your daily antidote to fake news as we each and every day analyze current events in light of larger conservative trends to help you to think better and feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Let's start off with our video chat question of the day, shall we? Do you believe Steve Crowder will win his lawsuit against YouTube? Let us know in the comments section below. Do you believe Crowder will prevail against Google's censorship? Let us know what you think, because we're going to see that Crowder really is but the latest in a growing backlash against big tech that promises big changes ahead. But first, let's give you a shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's BioTrust and their awesome immune system supporting product, Ageless Body. With our rapid advances in science over the years, there are much more powerful and effective ways to boost our immune systems than just taking mega doses of vitamin C. In fact, our sponsors over at BioTrust have combined 4 of the world's best immune supporting powerhouses along with that mega dose of vitamin C into their #1 immune support product, Ageless Body. Simply put, Ageless Body provides you 5 of the most powerful immune support ingredients available. And best of all, if you click on that link below right now, you can get Ageless Body at their lowest price ever, up to 51% off with free US shipping to boot. So don't wait, click on that link or go to agewithsteveturley.com. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. One of the growing trends that we often talk about on this channel is a trend that's known as TECHLASH, which involves an increasing animus and worldwide hostility towards big tech oligarchies such as Facebook, Twitter, and Google. If you want some backdrop to the whole issue of TECHLASH, definitely check out our video on how a Russian court has recently ordered Google to restore a conservative YouTube channel that they deemed were unfairly deplatformed. That video is going to make your day, as well as give you a deep dive into this growing worldwide phenomenon. Well, we got a new contribution to this growing backlash against big tech, and that comes from none other than the conservative comedian and superstar commentator Steven Crowder. Crowder has just announced that he is indeed suing YouTube over its content moderation practices and policies, which disproportionately silence and censor conservatives and conservative channels. Crowder made the announcement on his show just the other day, together with his lawyer, Bill Richmond, that they have given legal notice to YouTube of the intent to file a lawsuit and seek an injunction from having his channel deplatformed. In the announcement, Crowder confirmed that as of the beginning of this year, YouTube once again demonetized his channel. If you're not aware, YouTube had actually banned Crowder's channel from receiving ad revenue, which is a major way our channels are monetized. Back in June of 2019, Crowder was suspended from YouTube's partner program over what YouTube claimed were inappropriate comments he made about a then Vox journalist. He was suspended for a year and was then reinstated, but as of his announcement the other day, he has indeed been once again demonetized and suspended. And that was that. Crowder had it with YouTube, and so he made the following announcement, quote, "As of last Thursday, May 14th, my lawyer Bill Richmond and I have filed a notice of a lawsuit against YouTube and are seeking an injunction to prevent them, to stop them from currently deplatforming us. We've officially sent a notice of a lawsuit, very different level. This is the big one, boys and girls." Now, as Micah Curtis has helpfully laid out for us here, there are 3 major disputes with YouTube. The first dispute involves a video Crowder did on election fraud, which involved, of course, highlighting what he saw as significant voting discrepancies in the last election. He's obviously not alone on such observations, but nevertheless, YouTube flagged his video for supposedly spreading misleading information about the 2020 presidential election. What's interesting in this, however, is that at no point in the video did Crowder claim that the election result needed to be overturned. The purpose of the video was simply to point out how the American voting system could be manipulated, which has been a major worry of both liberals as well as conservatives. Have we really forgotten how obsessed the left was literally for years over what turned out to be a completely false accusation that the Trump campaign and Russia had teamed up to steal the 2016 election? So there's nothing specific to Crowder here in terms of that dispute. The second dispute, which was over a hard strikes can get you deplatformed, was in regard to a video that YouTube claimed amounted to misinformation about COVID-19 statistics. Again, the problem here with this claim is that Crowder was using CDC statistics to back up his case and was simply making observations about how the disease would affect young people as opposed to any other age group. Again, this was based on statistics from the Center for Disease Control. Now, given that the CDC is a trusted source for most outlets, it doesn't appear that YouTube has much of a case there. And finally, the third instance, which again involved another hard strike, is a claim that Crowder was mocking the death of Ma'Khia Bryant, the 15-year-old girl who was shot and killed by police as she was attempting to stab another girl in Columbus, Ohio. Crowder insists, however, that he did no such thing. He maintains he was simply discussing the events that transpired when Bryant attempted to stab someone who was shot by a police officer in a bid to save the other person's life. So Micah Curtis thinks that Crowder has a very, very good case and may indeed win his suit against YouTube. After all, if you think it through, when you go to YouTube to find out what others are saying about any one of these events, any one of these issues we just laid out, you can find out what CNN thinks, you can find out what Jimmy Kimmel thinks, you can find out what the Young Turks think. Why you would want to, I have no idea, but but for some arbitrary reason, you're not allowed to find out what Steven Crowder thinks. So I think Crowder's lawyer summed it up best when he said, quote, "What YouTube is saying is these ideas are so dangerous that we can't address them or rebut them, we can't criticize them, we just have to extinguish the opinions entirely. We have to eradicate these opinions from the planet because we can't deal with them." Now, at one level, this lawsuit may appear to be an uphill battle. As I'm sure many of you know, Dennis Prager, PragerU, had his lawsuit against YouTube thrown out. This was just in the last year. Prager University accused YouTube of animus towards its political identity and viewpoint, which they said resulted in YouTube placing their videos in its restricted mode setting, which of course restricts access to PragerU's videos. But the judge in the case ruled that Google and YouTube were private entities that were actually not subject to the First Amendment freedoms afforded to a public forum for speech. They had every right to censor and editorialize and regulate content uploaded on their platforms as they saw fit. Now, of course, the problem with that decision is that social media platforms like Google and YouTube enjoy a litigation immunity granted to them by Section 230 of the SEC. Section 230 gives big tech the kind of immunity that utilities companies get, like phone companies, right? So social media right now is largely treated legally as utilities. Big tech has been legally recognized as our modern public forum. We communicate publicly through these platforms, and as such, these platforms are granted immunity by the federal government from being sued if someone uses these platforms in an unethical manner. Just like the phone company can't be sued if someone uses the phone to arrange, a terrorist act. And that's because the phone company is a legally recognized utility, which is no more responsible for how people use their services than is the electric company. Well, big tech has been legally granted this immunity, and yet they've arrogated themselves to playing moral policeman and banning certain voices and opinions, including our president's, while allowing for others. So imagine that AT&T, one of our major phone companies here in the States, imagine that AT&T listened in on one of your conversations and then decided that they were going to terminate your account because they didn't like your politics or they didn't like what you had to say. That's what big tech is in effect doing. That's what Facebook and Twitter and YouTube have been doing. They're acting like editorial publishers who are responsible for the content they publish, even though they've been granted immunity from what they publish. So you cannot have it both ways. And it's precisely that inconsistency and the way big tech exploits it for its own power that's provoking a massive backlash in the form of what scholars are calling TECHLASH. And that is where I think Crowder's lawsuit against YouTube finds its strength, its leverage, say, over and against PragerU's suit last year. Since PragerU's lawsuit last year, the original trickle of TECHLASH has grown into a massive tsunami, and it promises to completely overturn the way big tech oligarchs have censored conservative content. Now, before we get into that, I am so excited to invite you to our brand new Patriot Entrepreneur Live event that we're holding on June 4th and 5th. It is a virtual conference event, so you don't even have to leave the comfort of your own couch. And you can secure your couch simply by clicking on the link below. If you're looking to be a Patriot entrepreneur who's currently frustrated and feeling trapped in your woke job, passionate about your work, but disheartened about your woke environment, or perhaps you're a current business owner who wants to take your impact to the next level, then you're going to absolutely love our upcoming Patriot Entrepreneur Live. I've invited top conservative entrepreneurs to join me and share their wisdom with you as together we build a world of freedom without sacrificing our callings and our talents. Now, prices are going to go up just before the conference, so you do not want to wait on this. Make sure to click on that link below right now before prices go up, and I'll see you for a weekend that promises to be a game changer for your life like never before. All right, so what is this TECHLASH that Crowder suit is a growing part of here? Well, it's nothing less than a massive worldwide backlash against big tech in response to concerns that big tech has simply grown too powerful. For example, look at these headlines. This one from the New York Times. Big tech's backlash is just starting. Or this one from The Verge. The tech backlash is real and it's accelerating. Or this from Axios. The brewing storm for big tech. Gang, all of these articles are witnessing the exact same thing. There is a very real and growing animus towards large technology companies such as Facebook, Twitter, and Google that's gaining momentum and giving politicians the support they need to implement very harsh policies designed to strip big tech of its inordinate power. And so what Steven Crowder is doing here is he's simply adding to the growing tidal wave that promises to completely overturn the way big tech is able to regulate its content. So obviously we're going to be keeping an eye on how things develop here, but there is no question when all is said and done, no matter what happens with this lawsuit, the backlash against big tech has just begun. Now, before you go, you definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on how a new poll shows that the Democrats are indeed headed for an election bloodbath in the 2022 midterms. We take a look at the latest poll that spells disaster for the Democrats, how even liberal rags like the Washington Post are admitting that the Democrats' majority is indeed in jeopardy, and why a number of other factors combined with this new poll suggest that the 2022 midterms are going to be an absolute nightmare for Nancy Pelosi. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.